All right, we're back. It's just Connor and I. We're just going to talk about the ACC tournament mainly today. Let's start off with the game at noon today. Duke, Syracuse. Buddy Boeheim got suspended. One of the dirtiest plays we've seen. Not David Collins
Jail.
dirty.
Jail.
Not David
Still
Collins
jail.
dirty, but dirty. And then Jay Billis decides to come out, the biggest Syracuse homer apparently, saying Buddy Boeheim shouldn't be suspended. And that he looked like he was being held hostage in that video.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that is I do see both sides. Obviously, that play by Buddy Boeheim was completely intentional and action should have been taken. The refs missed that during the game, though. So I do think there's an argument to be made, like, can you really go back after the game has been completed and suspend him for the next game, effectively ending his college career? Like, is that a fair course of action in your mind?
No,
like, it's
like
tough.
the
It's
refs
tough.
should have gotten there. The thing is, like, you can't punch someone like that. Like, why?
Oh, I agree.
Like, why?
I
If you're
agree
a
completely.
And Syracuse fans are going to go off saying that was. It's almost going to be like the whole like Warriors fans with Draymond Green when he kicked whoever in the nuts and stuff like that.
The thing is, though, like, can you go back and when the game is over and completed, like, do not just treat that as another missed call, even though it was to a larger extent? Because, like, that was Jay Billis. That's what he was arguing, and that's what the Syracuse fans were saying. Like, I agree that action should have been taken, but the fact that they missed it during the actual game and then went back and suspended him, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, the course of action they took, I don't know if I agree with that.
He had to be suspended, though. He just
because you can't fine him because it's college.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because if it was the pros, you just fine him like $30,000 and then we move on. But let's talk about the actual game real quick. Dude, all these like higher seeds besides Carolina tonight, as we saw, all these higher seeds are coming out so tight. I mean, we saw with Wake yesterday, they came out so tight they couldn't even come back against Boston College. They blew. Then they came back, had a double-digit lead, blew it in overtime, ended up losing by, I think, like 7.
Hey, put some respect on Boston College's name.
That was tough today. But anyhow, in the Duke game, Jeremy Roach and Wendell Moore stepped up big.
They did.
There's a concerning thing, though, because Jim Boeheim ran a triangle and 2, face guarded, and it worked phenomenally well. That's terrifying if you're a Duke fan because you look at the last 2 games. UNC face guarded AJ Griffin. He had 5 shots, 5 points. Today, AJ Griffin gets face guarded. I think he had 4 points and he had 3 shots. I think he only had 3 shots.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And he was gone. He wasn't even on the court. I mean, he played some okay defense, but it's getting to the point, which is crazy, that we were talking about he might be a top 5 pick.
He was top 5, yeah.
He was top 5. Some projections had him over Paulo Banchero.
Yeah,
AJ Griffin might have to get benched for Jeremy Roach.
I was about to comment on Jeremy Roach because he stepped up huge today. And if you would have told me that he would be playing like this after I watched him last year and at the very beginning of this year, I'd have been like, he's probably leaving Duke or he's not going to contribute. He played out of his mind today, and he has for the last few weeks.
Yeah, he has. I mean, talking about playing out of your mind, Jimmy Boeheim goes off for 6 for 7 from 3. Joe Girard looks like Jimmer Fredette out there. Jeremy Roach was playing very well, like defensively on Joe Girard, and he was just making those tough shots.
Those turnarounds are tough. And I was going to comment and say, did Buddy Boeheim really not play, or did he, shift his shooting abilities to his brother over there? Because that was insane. Some of those threes he hit were very contested. Now, a few of them were
it was like Michael's secret sauce or whatever.
Well, Paulo Banchero did not press up on him as much as he should have, especially after he hit 2 or 3. Then you've got to realize, like, hey, he's feeling it today, even though he doesn't normally do this. The fact of the matter is he's hitting those tough shots today. You have to be able to adjust as a defensive player.
And you watched most of the game, right? That was the softest defense I've ever seen, and every Duke fan can see it. He's literally Jabari Parker.
Oh, he's so ready to go to the league.
He is so Jabari Parker. He's built the exact same way. They both move very similarly. I can't even say that word. And they both have the exact same decision-making. He passes a little more than Jabari did, but both so lazy on defense. Mike Schmitz had his thing today. They're like, he is a C- on defense, and that's being generous.
That is being generous, especially at the next level. Like, he's not going to be able to hide out or get away with that.
Jimmy Boeheim dropped a 30-burger almost on Paulo Banchero today. And imagine him going against guys like Will Barton. Imagine what Will Barton would do to Paulo Banchero.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can't hide like that at the next level because every single person 1 through 5 on that court can give you 30 at the next level. So you can't do all that.
But I mean, a win's a win in March. At the end of the day,
yeah,
it's like Duke's kind of trending downward. There's a lot of concerning things. Wendell Moore having 26 was huge. I mean, they took 21 threes in the first half.
Way too many threes. They were settling. And the thing is, most of them were open.
Or 31.
There comes a point where it's like, okay, yes, they're open. But am I open for a reason? Like, you're not hitting that day. If you're 2 for 10, maybe scale it back and don't shoot a first side 3, even if it's fairly open.
Yeah, but Duke wins by 8, doesn't cover the spread. Yeah. I mean, I'll take it. And then let's move on to real quick. Do we need to talk about the Wake Boston College game? Because
that hurt to watch. It hurt me.
Alondas Williams kind of disappeared in that game. When it was time for him to take over, he just was not there.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt at the very end. He was cramping up pretty badly, going in and out. But still, before that, it was all Jake LaRavia.
It was all LaRavia, and Davian Williamson was having too big of a role.
Yeah, I agree. He wasn't feeling it that night, and some of the moves he was making just, I don't know, like it just hurt them in the end. It's really what it was.
But that sucks for Wake. They are a legit 50-50 shot down to make the tournament. I mean, it's getting worse and worse as these bubble teams keep winning. Virginia Tech upsets Carolina tomorrow. I mean, we might.
And it sucks. Yeah, and it sucks that Notre Dame also lost because they're still going to get in over Wake, but then that pushes them further down, which in essence pushes Wake further down.
Exactly. You know? So, okay, let's move on real quick. Miami-Boston College. Unbelievable game. It was back and forth, super close. Just a classic, 2 p.m. ACC tournament game. Like most of the people left that came just for the main game. That's usually Duke or Carolina at noon.
Most of the 2,000 people there left.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into that after this game. But what a game. I mean, if Boston College hits that full court shot at the end of regulation, is that the greatest shot in
Boston College history?
Boston College history. I think it has to be, right? I mean, that's Doug Flutie.
I can't think of another one, yeah.
But, I mean, congrats to Miami, I guess. But all these teams are coming out so rusty.
The ACC is definitely having a down year this year. But this ACC tournament has been pretty entertaining so far, I will say. Like, there's been a lot of close games.
It has been, but the environment's been terrible.
Oh, yeah. The actual gameplay's been fine. The environment just doesn't. Like, imagine these games in Greensboro. It would be electric. Because these close, tight games.
I mean, I even tweeted it out today, and Josh Graham tweeted it out. On Tuesday in 2020, I know Carolina was playing, and it was in Greensboro. There were still about 13,000 fans on a Tuesday. In Greensboro, and in Brooklyn Tuesday, they could have fit in a high school gym in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Any basic high school gym, they could have fit all those fans. And even yesterday too, on Wednesday, there was nobody there. It was a ghost town. You could sit third row for $6, and then for each session. And then today, I looked at I was like, I'm kind of curious. What are tickets for the Duke game today? Checked about 2 hours before tip off. I see lower corner. Row 9, $10. And then I see tonight, I was like, like 3 hours before the Virginia Tech Notre Dame game. I was like, I wonder what tickets are. You can sit I think it was row 8 for $6.
It's ridiculous. They might as well have been playing in Jack Mustin Gymnasium.
Yeah, exactly. Playing at the Easter Scythe Gym.
Yeah.
Because the upper level might as well have curtains on it. I had curtains on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yeah, it sure did. And hey, you might as well. Nobody's sitting up there.
Nobody's sitting up there. Why pay for ushers to sit up there? It's a joke. Like, the ACC needs to stop this charade. Like, the rotation just needs to be Charlotte, Greensboro, and go back and forth. I think that's fine. Because
if people cry, then whatever. Like, the fact of the matter is, look at the results. Look at the attendance.
Nobody's coming out for these games. Duke, Syracuse, probably the 2 biggest alumni fan bases in New York City, in the New York State, and the game their lower bowl wasn't even full.
Boeheim's the one pushing for it to be in New York. He was the one complaining about Greensboro. His team plays nothing.
And it doesn't matter to the ACC because apparently every seat in that stadium is paid for already. So it doesn't matter to them how many people actually go to the games.
Which sucks because they need to care more about the actual love for the ACC and the fans that show up and actually buy those tickets, buy those concessions. Like, it's starting to dwindle. Like, you think people are going to keep interest when the tournament's in Brooklyn or DC?
And if you change the channel to Fox Sports 1, you're seeing some of this is the best environment in college basketball right now. They're playing in the Garden, Big East tournament. Guess what? That tournament doesn't leave, and it's still amazing. It doesn't matter. Keep it where it belongs, and you'll have that great environment. There's no need to move it like this.
They're overthinking the actual location. Just because it says Greensboro, North Carolina, or it says New York, that doesn't, like, if we're in a conference tournament like this, it doesn't matter.
Because I didn't think Charlotte was bad when we went, but
Charlotte was a good environment.
We've been over this a million times, and we did it with David Glenn. So
yeah,
Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. I'm not sure you caught much of the game, but
I was at work.
Virginia Tech played out of their minds. I mean, they didn't miss a shot. 87-80 final, tons of points. I mean,
does it feel like
Virginia Tech?
Does it feel like to you, like, obviously Notre Dame was the 2 seed? Does it feel like they were a pretty weak 2 seed? Because, like, they didn't scare me.
I was texting some people about this. I don't know in my life that I've ever seen the 2 seed on the quarterfinal day of the ACC tournament as an underdog.
I saw that. Yep. Well, everybody picked VT as one of those sleeper teams.
It was so obvious. 12-1 for VT. If VT wins tomorrow against Carolina, you have a 12-1 ticket, and they're probably only going to be about a 5-6 point underdog to Duke.
Yeah.
Or Miami, whoever wins.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, congrats to VT, man. They're on fire right now, and David Glenn was right on with that one.
Oh yeah, they're peaking at the right time for sure.
All right, let's get into the Carolina-Virginia game. I tweeted it out too. I mean, Carolina they're firing on all cylinders, and it was simple. They ran Virginia. They got them out of their comfort zone early.
Yep.
And they made them play at their pace. Virginia can only play at one pace. If they get out of that, they're done. And if it's a double-digit game, Virginia cannot come back from a double-digit game. They're like the New England Patriots this year. When you saw Mac Jones, if he's down 10 or more points, it's over, because he can win you. He can keep a game going. If you're
he can manage it.
Yeah, he can manage it like every other quarterback, like a Teddy Bridgewater. But he can. I mean, that's how it is with Virginia too. Once they went down 10, that game was over. It was already. I think it was like 15-5 game.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that, because the thing with Virginia is, if you speed them up, they can't keep up with that pace. They can't make enough shots to keep up with somebody who gets them out of their defensive comfort zone. That's exactly what happened. You know, you can attribute it to Brady Manick playing like Larry Bird, which is fine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Another thing too is Hubert's figured this out. I guess in the last few weeks, that these off-ball screens getting Brady, they just double screen Brady Manick to get him wide open threes. I mean, there's nobody within like 7 feet, even when they're playing a team like Virginia.
Yeah, and even when there are people close to him, he doesn't need that much time or space to get a shot off, and he does not lack confidence. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it felt like he kind of did at the beginning of the season, because I guess maybe when he's coming off the bench competing with Dawson Garcia, but I mean, who's coming in for him now?
Exactly. He's found his role, and at the very beginning of the year, I feel like he was trying very hard to fit into the Carolina system and not do too much. You know, like his 3-pointers were few and far in between. These last 2 months or so, there's been no holding back, and I think that's been great for the team, honestly. But yeah, tonight, I mean, UVA 13 points at the half. I mean, you just can't win doing that, no matter what. You can say good defense. Yeah, you can say good defense
like
style.
17%.
Yeah, and Carolina did not have that good of a shooting game.
No, but they had a lot of missed easy shots too. They controlled that game, but I mean, it's crazy. Like, Carolina's actually peaking at the right time. I know this is going to happen. You're talking yourself into a Final Four, aren't you?
No, I can't do that.
If you win the ACC title, you're talking yourself into a Final Four, because I think Carolina would move up to like a 3 seed at that point, right? If they beat Duke in the final.
If they beat Duke in the final, I think they're a top 4 seed in the tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, they're the 25th team in the country right now.
Gosh, you're starting to get me riled up. You're starting to give me hope. You can't be doing all that.
I mean, I know you're thinking second weekend.
I am, and no, I would not have said that. I would not have said that 2 weeks ago.
Duke could be a 12 seed, and I'd still think second weekend every single time.
I'm just trying not to hype it up too much, because this team is peaking at the right time. But I know as soon as I get my hopes up and expect something, I'm going to be let down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just like, whatever happens, I feel like it's a little house money. Like if we get past the first round, anything after that's house money, depending on the matchup.
Yeah, Duke. I mean, I almost started to feel that way with Duke today, watching the Syracuse game. Just like, all right, if they lose this game, whatever. I'm going into the tournament. They can lose to a 14 seed. I don't care at this point. But now I'm gonna get my hopes up if we beat Miami tomorrow. But let's talk about that because the Virginia game was terrible.
Yeah, I am terrified of meeting Duke in the ACC final.
Well, we'll wait for that. Let's talk about
terrified. All right.
Duke Miami first.
All right, let's talk.
I wanted Miami. I know Boston College would have been tired, but Duke would have looked down on Boston College, and nobody plays to their competition more than the Duke Blue Devils because I think Duke goes out there and wins by 20 if Buddy Boeheim's playing, and the fact that he wasn't playing, they're like, oh, we're just going to walk out there and win.
It's
a freshman mentality.
Yeah, they're like, let's coast. Their best players out, leading scored in the ACC. They're going to lay down
we
for
beat
us.
them by 20 plus both times. And now they don't even have their best player that dropped like 20 against us. We're going to win by 30 plus. And then turns out they had to have, they almost lost today. It really was. If you watch the game, you're like, wow, Duke's probably going to lose if Jeremy Roach didn't step up at the end.
Oh yeah. And the thing with Duke is like, they have to understand that in the ACC tournament, every team is playing for their lives. Every team that's not already locked in the tournament, which this year is very few teams, they are playing for their season. So it's going to be different than a regular season matchup that they saw in Cameron or whatever that may be.
So, because that's kind of where Miami locked themselves in today. In today for sure.
Notre Dame sure didn't.
Duke. The reason I wanted Miami is I think Duke wants that revenge game, and Duke's going to get up for Miami. I think they actually do. They don't get up for those teams, and I think we match up very well against Miami. So
that's the same.
Duke's a 9-point favorite.
That's the same principle I've talked about in the last couple of shows about the NCAA tournament preview is that Duke gets up for these big games. Gonzaga, Kentucky.
March Madness, Eastern Washington, Northern Colorado at the buzzer. Oh, he missed. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, he missed a wide open layup. Oh, I love the Big Sky.
So who won?
Northern Colorado won 68-67. Oh, that's painful. Anyhow, sorry,
that is tough. No, it's March. It's March.
But yeah, no, I like Duke over Miami. Duke -9 is too many points. Vegas is telling people this last like 2 weeks, hey, you're not betting on Duke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. They're making those lines so high.
When we saw Carolina +12, that was the easiest thing you could ever.
Way too many points.
Duke Carolina +12. I don't care how bad either of these teams are.
It will never be like that. Like when they predict it'll be like that, it never will be.
Last year was different just because there's no fans and stuff. But in a real Duke Carolina game, 12 points is insane. Especially
favoring the team that won the first game. Because more often than not, there's going to be a split. Yep, exactly.
So are you worried about Virginia Tech tomorrow?
I am, because we have talked a lot about Virginia Tech being with that sneaky team, making it to the final. Mike Young has them peaking at the right time. They're, in essence, playing for their tournament lives, I would say, wouldn't you?
They're still outside the bubble, even with that win against Notre Dame, which I thought that would put them in.
I thought so too, but Mike Young is preaching to them, hey, go out and beat North Carolina, top 25 team in the country. We're in the big dance.
That's a quad one win. They're in.
Yep. Neutral site. We're in the big dance.
It's a conference. Gosh, man, Virginia Tech matches up so badly to Carolina.
Caleb Love has had 2 20-plus point games against Virginia Tech already this season. And when he scores 20 or more points, Carolina, I think, is 10-0 this year, if I'm remembering that right. So if the trend continues, then we should be in good shape.
You don't even need Caleb Love anymore. Now that RJ Davis is running the point.
Dude, him running the show for the majority of the game has been a huge pressure off Caleb Love's shoulders because he doesn't jack up those into the shot clock shots too much anymore. Still does at certain times, but
I'm trying to find the spread for this game. It might not be up yet.
I haven't seen one yet. I don't know if you'll find one.
I thought it was 5.5, but
really? I know Carolina's playing well, but 5.5?
That seems about right.
Yeah, I guess so. I would still be scared.
I'll make a pick on the article tomorrow, even though they've been so bad.
I was gonna say you make a pick and everybody else can fade it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 3-17. It doesn't get better than that.
So I was going to ask you that next. What's your mindset, with all these CarterCast published articles coming out and your picks, and then, scroll down to the bottom and look at all of them. It just looks like a row of losers. How are you going to bounce back from this? Go up. You got to get worse before you can get better.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You get all the bad ones out now. The only ones that matter is next week in the NCAA tournament.
That's fair.
The NCAA tournament ones that matters.
This is a little
I'm for a ridiculous streak where I pick like 20 in a row.
I would more power to you if that happens.
But yeah, Carolina, Virginia Tech. I think we're going to see a Duke Carolina final, and that's what I want.
That terrifies me because obviously I want to make the ACC tournament final, whoever it is, whoever we play. But if you gave me the choice to lose right now or go play Duke in the final without knowing what would happen, I think I would almost choose lose to Virginia Tech. And I don't know what that says about me as a person. I think most people would say that.
If Duke goes out and beats Carolina in the ACC final and whoops them, delete Twitter.
I don't know. See, the thing is,
it's going to be unbearable.
It would definitely put a damper on the Coach K Cameron game, but it doesn't block it out just because of the significance of it. But it definitely would put a damper on it.
I think it would I think it would, because Carolina, especially if you guys, each win Carolina gets right now, the train's getting louder and louder. The bandwagon's getting bigger. There's less seats on the bandwagon.
Hey, I'm the conductor. I'm up front driving, and so we'll see about that. It just terrifies me because if Carolina does meet Duke in the final and they get absolutely destroyed, obviously Duke fans are going to be talking all the noise, but I'll have to sit there and take it because I was on you a lot after that game, as I should have been.
The victory lap. I might hire a mariachi band for that victory lap.
Would that game be a bigger win than Carolina's winning Cameron? I don't know.
I think I would rather have this one. Coach K wants to. Coach K wants to add one more. For some reason, it seems like it's going to be Duke Virginia Tech though.
Hey,
couldn't you see that? Like, just one
I could
of those.
See that. And if you're picking that, then go ahead. I love that. But I don't know, from a Duke perspective, I think this game you would rather have this over Coach K's last home game. From a Carolina perspective, it's a little more close. Obviously, an ACC tournament title would be huge, but Coach K only retires one time, so it's closer than you think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know.
I
think I'd rather have the ACC tournament title, but the national title is all that matters.
Oh yeah, looking ahead real quick, if knock on wood, the Duke Carolina final does happen, what does a potential spread look like for that game? Because I don't think it would be 12.
5. I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think it's pretty tight. That would be tough. I still think Duke would get. I don't know. I still think Duke has the more talented team on a neutral site, so I think they'd give them a few points.
I think it really depends how tomorrow's games go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
That's about it. I just want to say, thank God March is back.
Oh my. And real March too. It's not these the COVID stuff. I got like old Snapchat pictures from back in the Greensboro Coliseum a year ago when there's only like 2,000 fans.
Oh, so weird.
It's so depressing just looking at that. And then you see this year, all fans, it's just back to normal. Actually, we'll have a real March Madness and real neutral sites, not all in one like bubble campus thing. No one's really gonna have any concern about like having to forfeit games. Really, it's amazing. I mean, every game's been close almost.
I was gonna say, and March is already living up to the hype because even these smaller conference tournament games have been electric. Like, there's been so many buzzer beaters, so many overtime games already, and it's only March 11th.
Yeah,
like it's definitely lived up to the hype so
far. But awesome. Okay, so plan for the next pod. We're gonna do a big bracket show. We'll put out more details out on Twitter and everything going forward. But we're gonna do a big bracket show. We're not gonna do like a live stream selection Sunday, but we're gonna run through the bracket. It's gonna probably end up having to be a 2-parter, but make sure to stay tuned for that. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You know the deal. Check out CarterCast.com and fade all my picks for the ACC tournament. Fade all my picks for the ACC tournament on CarterCast.com. That's KARTERKAST.com. Check out other articles on there as well. Check out full video podcasts on YouTube and on CarterCast.com as well. And then we will see y'all next week. Bye.